Hello YouTube, Almas here, and I have for you guys today a really good Showdown replay that I had against my good friend Steven, aka the Goomy. As you can see, we both have Mega Helix and Heliolisk. That is because this literally happened the day before the end of the suspect test. This was supposed to be a Showdown live. Unfortunately, last night I just had so much dumb stuff going on. I didn't have a chance to do it live, and right now I'm very short on time, so I hope you guys do not mind the replay. I promise to you though, tomorrow we will get back into the UU suspect and try to get Rex to vote on the potential ban or no ban of Superior. So yeah, as I said, for those of you who don't know, currently Mega Helix and Heliolisk are banned. So let me know how you guys feel about that. I know I asked this in my previous PS Live, but I'm not sure if everybody watched that or not. And let me know what new threats do you think will rise now that Heliolisk and Mega Helix are gone. That's actually, I think, a better question actually. Yeah, let me know what new potential threats are going to rise now that Mega Helix and Heliolisk are gone. And of course, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to show off your support and hit the like button down below. You can do it now or after you finish watching the video. All up to you. So let's take a look at team preview. For those of you who don't know, I am obviously on the other side. I did do a PS Live with this team, and it was actually a PS Live when I came back from the dentist, so it was actually pretty funny from the comments that I read. So if you guys would like to see that, I'll leave a link to that down in the description. And looking at Steven's team, going into this battle, the two biggest threats I saw were going to be Sock and Musharna. Mainly Sock because with the proper prediction, it can pretty much OHKO everything on my team, and then Musharna, if I allow it to set up too many calm minds, it sweeps through my team. So those were really the two big issues I was really worried about. But yeah, anyways, he's going to be leading off with his Mega Helix, as I'm going to be leading off with my Archeops. I've been in this scenario so many times when I try to get Rex, so what I'm going to do is just go straight for U-turn on out into my Xatu, because unless he has Stone Edge, then there's no way that he should be able to beat my Xatu one-on-one unless he does get two very high damage rolls with Heavy Slam, which is 68%. So I'm pretty much just going to stand here and keep roosting up as he's just going to spam Heavy Slam, because I want to bring him down to the point where a Heat Wave will knock him out. So here I do decide to go for the Heat Wave, and honestly me staying in was very questionable as well, considering that this was my only fighting switch in, and I guess at the time I really wasn't fully thinking out the play, but at the same time getting rid of his Mega Helix is going to be very beneficial to me, because my Archeops and my Heliolisk can pretty much destroy his entire team single-handedly. So I go for the Heat Wave, and he lives at 1%. At the time I was actually kind of upset about this, but this is actually very good for me, considering the fact that now, because he's going to go for the Heavy Slam here, knock me out, then knock himself out to Rocky Helmet damage, he's not going to be able to get a free switch into Musharna and start calm minding up. So I don't know if I got a low damage roll there on Heat Wave or not, but it's actually very good for me as we are both going to go down. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Heliolisk, considering that it is the fastest Pokemon on my team, as he brings in Xatu. So when he brought in Xatu, I'm thinking, okay, my best play to go for here is probably to Hyper Voice, just because he most likely is going to want to bring in the Hariyama, and Hyper Voice does more damage to Hariyama. In hindsight, that was a very bad thing for me to think, a dumb thing for me to think is what I should say, because I should have honestly just gone for Volt Switch, considering that I lost my only fighting switch in. At the same time though, I thought that maybe he would want to bring in Musharna so I could get off Hyper Voice damage on that and then go for the Volt Switch, but what I'm trying to say is that I should have gone for Volt Switch, because it turns out that he's Scarfed and he's going to be able to live this Hyper Voice, which was a little bit frustrating. But because he is Scarfed, I should be able to get a free switch into my Mega Helix now, and I can pretty much just Mega Evolve, and I'm going to predict him to want to switch out, fearing the Heavy Slam of course, and I'm actually going to go for the Earthquake, as he actually stays in and decides to go for Side Shock. And then this following turn, I was actually very close to going for Stealth Rocks. Luckily though, I didn't. I ended up going for the Earthquake again, and here I'm like, you know what? He's very hellbound on just foddering this off, so I'm just going to go for the Heavy Slam and get rid of the Xatu, which is really good for me because his Xatu actually outsped my entire team, considering that it was Scarfed. As he brings in the Sock, I make another questionable play and I fodder off my Steelix. I probably should have foddered off Heliolisk, because really Heliolisk does not knock out or get off too much significant damage on anything else on his team, and by keeping Steelix around, I still could have got out my Stealth Rocks, and I still could have phased out the Musharna, and I still could have taken a hit from this Virizion if it was not special. And I think I might have actually also been able to outspeed this Hariyama and hit it with the Earthquake before he hit me with the close combat. But yeah, just a dumb play on my part by foddering off my Steelix, and because he doesn't have Mold Breaker, I know for a fact that he has Sturdy. However though, I am kind of worried that he is Scarf, so I bring in Hariyama, and I'm just going to go straight for the fake out as he decides to make the safe switch into the Musharna. Luckily though, he turns out to have leftovers and not... if I'm not mistaken, there's a berry that boosts your defense by 2 if you get hit with a dark type move. So I was very relieved to see that he didn't have that, as I do get off a decent amount of damage. He's going to go for the Calm Mind, and then this turn I'm going to predict him to either want to Calm Mind again or just go for a Moonlight, as he does end up going for the Moonlight. I know that an Acrobatics will not do any damage to this, so what I'm going to do is go for U-turn into my Typhlosion so I can try to get off as much damage with a Specs Fire Blast as I can. But he ends up going for the Barrier, and the third dumb play of the match, I go for Eruption. Now, what I really should have done here was gone for Fire Blast, because I think I had the dumb notion of thinking, oh hey, Eruption is going to finish off this Musharna even though it is at +1 Spadef. However though, what I didn't take into consideration was that if it lives and he goes for Stored Power and I live myself, he's in a scenario where he can get off a free Moonlight and just keep boosting up again, because I'm going to be forced to switch out or stay in and spam a severely weakened Eruption, and I pretty much lose. However though, I get lucky and he ends up critting me with the Stored Power. That was probably the funniest moment of this match, because the fact that I got critted helped me out more than it helped out Steven, because now I get a free switch into my Archeops and I get a free kill. This gets O-code, this gets O-code, this gets O-code, and at the amount of HP this is at, it's going to get knocked out by Acrobatics. I could have also potentially gone for the U-turn, but I thought Acrobatics was the better play for me to do, as he is going to be forced to bring in the Sock here. You could argue that you could have brought in Hariyama, but at the same time, I guess I could have switched out. And because I do run a lot of speed creep on my Hariyama, I doubt that Steven is running more than me, so I could bring in Hariyama and potentially get a free kill with close combat. And by bringing in Sock, he confirms that, of course he has Sturdy, but at the same time I was a little worried that he was Scarfed. However though, I decided to call his bluff. Turns out that he's just Bandit, and I'm going to go ahead and just fodder off my Heliolisk here, allow me to get a free switch back into my Archeops and just get another KO with Acrobatics. So yeah, that's really what's going to happen. Sorry that I'm a little ahead of the replay, as he decides to fodder off the Sock. He brings in a Hariyama, and here I was very close to switching into my own Hariyama. However though, ultimately me staying in and going for Acrobatics just to get off as much damage on this thing as possible is more beneficial to me, because I did run a damage calc. Turns out that even if he isn't running any HP investment, I think Hariyama can still take a adamant close combat from another Hariyama at full HP. So I decided to just stay in with Archeops and go for the Acrobatics to get off as much damage as I can. So if it does come down to Hariyama against Hariyama, so long as I'm at full HP, and if for some reason he's running more than 60 speed EVs, I can take the close combat and in return finish him off with close combat and win the battle. So he ends up going for the Bullet Punch, and Bullet Punch I think always does over 50% to Archeops, so he's going to be able to just barely hang on with this Acrobatics, as I make a very risky play here. The reason why I say this is risky is because I feel that the switch out to Hariyama was very obvious, because what he could have done was stayed in, gone for the close combat. As I knocked him out with Acrobatics, he brings in Virizion. Even if Virizion lives the Acrobatics from my Defeatist Archeops, he's not going to be able to knock out my Hariyama with any one hit. I can fake out CC and knock out Virizion. If he stayed in and went for the Bullet Punch, he would knock out my Archeops. I'd be forced to bring in Hariyama, and I think that I would have to go for a fake out Bullet Punch combo, and then he would have to bring in Virizion. Although then again, I still take a hit from Virizion, but he also could have switched into Virizion, got off a huge hit on me, got rid of my fake out, and then probably won with Hariyama with his own fake out Bullet Punch combo. I think that's probably what would have happened, but I did decide to make the safe switch into Hariyama, as luckily for me, he ends up going for the safe Bullet Punch, and I'm in a scenario where I can just click close combat. Because if he does want to switch out here, I get off a huge amount of damage on the incoming Virizion, and I'm just going to decide to switch out into my Archeops here, basically as death fodder, because what I can do is scout out to see what item he has and bring back in Hariyama, and I click fake out, and I pretty much get a free knockout with a combination of fake out and Bullet Punch on Hariyama, or just a fake out on Virizion. As he does decide to switch out into his own Hariyama, at the amount of HP that he is at, a Bullet Punch will definitely finish him off. And then when he brings back in Virizion, I'm still positive I can live any one hit, but just to be safe, I decided to go for the bullet punch, which is going to be able to finish him off, and that is going to be the 1-0 victory in my favor. So yeah, honestly, going into this battle, I didn't really think I was going to win, just because Steven, of course, is a very good battler. I've known him for a while now. Luckily though, I did get kind of lucky. That's not a very good sentence. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to show off support. And with that being said, guys, we are going to be jumping back into UU Suspect Laddering tomorrow, of course. Go check out Steven, his channel link will be down in the description. And with that being said, thank you all for watching. Later, everybody.